Literally is a word that is thrown around a lot these days. I literally scream from irritation when people use it incorrectly. Ah! See, I told you so. But hear me out when I tell you that these trophies are literally impossible to achieve. Now, I know you like trophies. The act of trophy hunting is something that a lot of gamers like to dedicate their time to, and with countless YouTube channels, websites, PS4 communities, and subreddits available to guide players towards unlocking their next prize, there are a few trophies that can't be unlocked with a dash of perseverance and a hefty chunk of free time. But that is not always true. Since the trophy system is over a decade old and thousands of games have made use of it in that time, it's probably no surprise that a bunch of trophies have become literally unobtainable over the years, whether that's because of a glitch, a lack of updates, or hackers ruining things for the honest folk out there. So if you want to avoid the bitter taste of a 98% completion rate, best stay away from these games and their impossible trophies. I'm Will for WhatCulture, and here are 9 PlayStation trophies that are literally impossible to achieve. 9. Run Like the Wind, Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PS3. Because of the amount of money and resources behind them, it seems bizarre that a AAA game would feature an issue that prevents players from gaining 100% completion, and yet Grand Theft Auto 5 falls into this grimy category. For the first few years after its 2013 launch, the PS3 version of the game had an attainable, albeit rather difficult, Platinum trophy. However, in 2017, Rockstar disabled the ability to place bounties on people in GTA Online, making one particular trophy, Run Like the Wind, impossible to achieve, since it required players to survive with a bounty on their heads for one in-game day. Players who had already unlocked the trophy before 2017 were not affected by this change, but players who hadn't got around to it yet, or new players starting the game for the first time, were totally screwed. The last gen versions of the game have been pretty much abandoned as well, so Rockstar probably won't head back and change things. Tough luck. 8. Dragon Fin Soup. Dragon Fin Soup. Dragon Fin Soup was released at the tail end of 2015, courtesy of indie development studio Grimbros. A fantastic retro-style RPG, the game didn't really make a big splash back when it first came out, but it was made available as a PlayStation Plus perk, so the majority of PS3 and PS4 gamers can always head back and play it for free. Although if you're interested in attaining the Platinum, creatively titled Dragon Fin Soup, you may not want to do that. From pretty much day one, reports that the game's trophies were bugged began to circulate, with stats tracker issues, crashes, and other glitches making the Platinum unobtainable. Frustratingly, Grimbros then came forward with a lengthy comment on the game's Kickstarter page, saying that they were unable to fix the PlayStation versions of the game. The problem was that Grimbros didn't actually port these versions, leaving the job of fixing the game up to the studio that did, Blitworks. Interestingly, Blitworks' website doesn't even list Dragon Fin Soup in its list of games, almost as if they're embarrassed about the poor quality of their own port. 7. Haunted, Micro Machines World Series. Top-down racing game Micro Machines World Series was met with a negative response when it launched in 2017, which didn't exactly provide developer Codemasters with the motivation it needed to continue to support the game, including fixing issues like this one. For the first few weeks after the game released, the Haunted trophy, awarded for getting an assist on an enemy killed by the Ouija board, was unlockable with no problems whatsoever, but unfortunately the game's 1.05 patch completely broke it, and nobody has been able to earn it since the update went live over 2 years ago. Like with the GTA 5 trophy, the Platinum is still obtainable here as long as you unlocked Haunted before the 1.05 patch. But since Codemasters has shown no intent to support the game further, players who don't have the Haunted trophy can now never get it, and thus the Platinum is unobtainable as well. 6. 100% complete, NBA Elite 11. An entry in EA's NBA Live series of basketball games, the case of NBA Elite 11's unobtainable Platinum trophy is a completely bizarre one. The story starts with the game's complicated development. EA Canada only had around 18 months to make and release it, which isn't a lot of time for a AAA product. But confident that they could deliver, the team pressed ahead. As the game was nearing completion, a demo was released for public consumption, and it was here, under these skies, surprise that the Elite 11's prospects took a sharp turn for the worse. The demo was plagued with bugs and animation issues, including one hilarious glitch which saw one of the players stood in the middle of the court in a T-pose. Despite this bad press, EA Canada remained adamant that they could fix the game's problems, but after an internal review, EA chose to flat out cancel the game, unwilling to ship a product that they weren't happy with. But strangely enough, this cancellation came when the game was pretty much finished, and somehow a few copies leaked out into the wild and into gamers' hands. As a result, a tiny amount of players have actually played the game and earned some of the trophies, and these released copies of the game quickly became rare collector's items. So unless you're lucky enough to somehow stumble across one of the copies, the platinum is fully unobtainable, and even if you did manage to get a copy, it has online trophies which are not possible to unlock at this late stage in time. 5. Jukebox Hero, Duck Game. While Duck Game was released on the Switch earlier this year and has had several patches since, the PS4 version has been left untouched for a while now, and publisher Adult Swim Games has stated that they have no plans to update it. And that's unfortunate for those players who want to unlock the platinum, because one trophy, Jukebox Hero, is currently bugged and cannot be unlocked. Awarded for hatching 8 eggs, it's the only trophy in the game that Duck Game players have failed to obtain, and so far, a workaround hasn't been found. While the developer has previously stated that he hopes to support the PS4 version, he did not port this version himself, so it's proven very difficult to get any updates sent out to it. 4. The View From Up Here, KERBAL Space Program. KERBAL Space Program is an odd little game that allows you to direct a complete space program, overseen by minion-esque green aliens. It's surprisingly in-depth and will take a lot of time to master, so if you're in it for the trophies, you'd better be prepared to dedicate a significant chunk of your time. You'd also better be prepared for an unobtainable platinum, and the trophy that's to blame is a bronze called The View From Up Here. Awarded for completing a flyby of Kerbin, the home planet of those green fellas, the prize will not unlock, even when the specific criteria is met. A patch isn't likely to be released either, so if you want 100% completion, then you're dang out of luck. Fortunately, those who were craving a Kerbal Space Program Platinum trophy can always look elsewhere. The enhanced edition of the game was released on the PS4 in 2018 and comes packing its own separate trophy list, all of which are achievable. 3. All online trophies, games that have suffered server crashes. The PS3 ecosystem is actually still quite active, and if you're a trophy hunter who likes to check back in with the console every now and then, be careful which games you start. The online components of a lot of PS3 games will no longer function, and if those online components were tied to trophies, then those trophies are now unobtainable. The likes of Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, The Last of Us, Resistance 2, Resistance 3, Burnout Paradise, Gran Turismo 5, Killzone 3, and many, many more have all suffered server closures over the years, making their individual online trophies impossible to achieve. In terms of the PS4, this list is a lot shorter, but notable examples include The Tomorrow Children, WWE 2K17, and Drawn to Death. 2. Committed Till the End, Lost Planet 2. Even if every trophy was possible to unlock, Lost Planet 2 is not a game you should pick up if you like to go for 100% completion. It is easily one of the hardest platinum trophies to achieve, across any PlayStation console. Some of the requirements include little things like, get a number 1 placement on an online leaderboard. Needless to say, such a feat was borderline impossible for the majority of players, since the leaderboards were soon filled up with expert Lost Planet 2 specialists who achieved records that mere mortals could only dream of. However, I'll grant you that it is still technically possible, or at least it used to be. The risk with implementing a trophy that's tied to a leaderboard is that said leaderboard could always be hacked, and sure enough, that's exactly what has happened to Lost Planet 2's leaderboards. Since the boards have been hacked, it is now literally impossible to get a top score on one, which means it is now literally impossible to get every trophy. 1. Big Leagues, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2's multiplayer servers are still live in 2019. You can still jump into an online lobby for a bit of PvP action. However, not all of the game's online functionality is intact. The Leagues feature hasn't been updated in quite some time, and because of this, the Big Leagues trophy is impossible to unlock. To get the trophy, you had to win 5 League play games after being placed in a division. Each division is basically a rank, with bronze players near the bottom and platinum players near the top. To determine your division, you had to play a few placement matches, but for the last several years, the game has been stuck in pre-season mode, meaning that players aren't being placed into divisions and they can't play the league games required for the trophy. Considering the ridiculously large and dedicated player base this series has, even with the older titles, and the amount of money it's made for Activision, it's weird to think the studio won't just release a quick update to fix this issue, perhaps by altering the trophy requirements. AAA publishers, they're the worst. Who'd have guessed? And there you have it, folks, 9 PlayStation trophies that are literally impossible to achieve. Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at @YouSlyDogU. I'm Will for WhatCulture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.